she also had, most of them served in legislature, except for,
I think she did, didn't she?
Bessie.
I think she did.
No, Bessie was a little strange, I guess.
Bryant she did for one term.
Yeah, and there was a Florence, I think. Blanche and a Mac. There was like 2 boys and 3 girls. I can't remember exactly. I should know it all. I did enough taping of it. The people that actually made her famous were like the Woodbury people. Though Hugo was related to Bessie Drennan. His wife was.
Never heard that.
Yeah, they were cousins or something. And she would go down and visit Bessie, and Bessie would complain to her about how hard she had to work and how she had to clean the house and everything. And Hugo's wife, to make her feel better, would buy one of her paintings. So the person that has the most Bessie Drennan paintings is Hugo Myers. But they are valuable now. But did you see that write-up in the Burlington Free Press a little while ago about Bessie Drennan? They were going to have one of her paintings on display and stuff.
I guess I did remember it, but I didn't save it. Didn't read it.
They talked about, it was a picture of the Yellow Tavern, and when I was doing this tape and stuff, I found out that when Jane Beck wrote her book on Bessie Drennan, have you read that book?
Never heard of that either.
I'll mail it to you, because I've got the book. But she talked about the Yellow Tavern as being like the home that Bessie grew up in, where Sprague lives. And that wasn't where the Yellow Tavern is. The Yellow Tavern was over in Gilbertville, what they called Gilbertville, where John Gilbert and his brothers lived. And
In Woodbury?
Yeah.
Never heard of that either.
And it's been torn down. I guess it fell down and they tore it down, but the Woodbury people said, well, they think that where she thought that the Yellow Tavern is where Bessie grew up is because the house that she grew up in was painted yellow at one time, but it wasn't actually the Yellow Tavern. It was a different building. But I was gonna do some stuff with that, with corrections that were wrong, and then my advisor said oral histories are the way people remember them, and maybe this is the way somebody remembered it. Maybe you shouldn't do that. That was like misinformation that she got when she wrote the book. But.
Well, it's just the same as any newspaper report that you ever read that you know anything about.
It's the way that they see it.
Compared to the way you way you see it, and that's right. Not the way it was. But Bessie Drennan was kind of a grandma Moses.
Yeah, she was.
And she did do some kind of nice country type paintings.
Yeah, she did.
And she probably was 75 years old when she started, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. She used to play the harmonica. That's what like everybody kind of remembers, is her playing that harmonica and marching up and down the street. And I'll have to show you the video because
I'd see it.
Have you ever? Do you know David Stevens? He lived in Woodbury.
He works for Horse and Parks?
No, he's a minister. He's a minister over in Marshfield, I think. But he used to go over there and visit with him when he was a young boy. And one of her paintings, Gospel Hall, he's the subject of it. He's the little boy that's going into the Gospel Hall. And she painted that for him. And I did an interview with him, and he said that she never married, or she never had a boyfriend that they ever remember. And he said that Bessie was like the one that like she did all the housework. You know, that's what she did, and she never really did anything. Well, painting was famous, but he said the funny part of it now is like she's the one that's the most famous out of all of them, and here they all served in legislature but her, and she was left home to clean, and she ended up being the famous one out of the whole bunch.
My dad, Everett, I got a daughter that can paint too.
All right.
Painted this.
Yes, you have.
Painted that one over there. You painted that one over there. That's Patty down on the farm.
Never knew her.
Yeah. She's the top one on the right there, Patty. Married Everett last year. God, she.
Well, no, that's me in red. She's in blue in the back.
No, I'm talking about the smaller picture.
Oh, yep,
Yeah.
yeah, she
Right,
can
she's-
paint.
Right, gotcha.
She, took one lesson, one painting lesson, and then she just did, she
She took her out.
did it.
Just,
Well, she had the talent and wanted to do it.
yeah, yeah. No, Charlie Patch, all he does is paint.
Yeah, I know he's made some pretty good pictures too.
Yeah.
But my favorite, of course, was Norman Rockwell. I've studied him a lot, and been to both museums. 4 years ago, in town of Craftsbury, we made the float out of that painted of the Great Horseshoe Forging Contest. Had 2 operating forges on a triaxle trailer bolted around the common horses, and his painting hanging around the trailer. That was kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I was 4 years and 3 weeks old when that painting came out, November 2nd, 1940. And that painting meant something to me, because we had a forge set up right in front of the horse barn then, and I'd seen Dad make horseshoes out of sleigh shoes before that painting even come out, November 1940.
So is the painting of, do you know the subjects in the painting?
In the book, with the Rockwell illustrator, it tells who they are. And it was staged in a double forge blacksmith shop in Shaftesbury. And it tells in the summer 1947 Vermont Life who the people are. And that painting is also the cover of the summer 47 Vermont Life. And Vast Orton wrote the piece that tells who they are, and all about them. And Tony and Jack Orley that was on that float were dressed just exactly like the people in that painting.
Huh.
Same color clothes, and we had this thing set just like the painting.
So you live in Wolcott or North Wolcott? Oh, Craftsbury. Trying to think who I know from Craftsbury. Of course, Irvin Martin.
Did Phil Brown die?
No, his wife did.
His wife died.
Yeah,
She was a little dark, the thin girl.
she was Raymond O'Meara's sister.
Yeah.
She and I went to school together 6 weeks in my first grade.
Yeah.
She was 16 and quit school. And
Yeah.
I remember her sitting on the steps, would have been about the middle of October in 1943, telling me she was going to leave school. Well, I couldn't figure out why she wanted to leave school. Well, she said, I'm 16. Well, I said, what difference does that make? Why do you want to leave school? And it never got it through my head why she wanted to leave school.
So how many years have you been logging, Everett?
Started when I was 10 years old with some. But I ain't logged in a couple of years. This winter I've been laid up all winter anyway. I ain't done a damn thing. Hurt my knees back in December. And now I'm having a hell of a time. Seems like vibrations in my head. Feel just like the inside of my head going just like that. We had CAT scans and EEGs and blood tests, and they can't find anything wrong. Feels just like a vibration. A little bit like 2 boiler makers with 4-pound hammers hanging around this plate sometimes.
Well, so what, is that what did you log all your life? Is that what you've done mostly?
I work quite a lot.
Well, he was a half-ass carpenter. He got that out of carrying wooden men out of logs and stuff.
Built this mill in 73, and I run that full time for 12, 14 years.
He had a lot of fun running that car up and down the tramway up there. He wanted to
Oh yeah, tell me the story about that. The Mount Washington story.
Well, the story was that the goddamn rail at the Highline Switch, a Skyline Switch they called it, was across the cog rack. You've got 2 rails on the outside, just send any train. You've got a cog rack in the center where this big cog wheel push off onto the side, then you have to have a hinged rail that crosses that cog rack. Well, the goddamn rail was left in place across the rack, and when the wheels hit it, it picked them right up out of the rack, and there was no control of the car. The brakes and the power were on them cog wheels, and when the cog wheel was decogged, it's perfectly freewheeling. So the engine pushes the car up, and it backs back down in front of it. So the engine derailed first, and probably went 40 or 50 feet and fell off a trestle, dropped probably 6 feet close to it. The boys were burning quite a lot in the engine, but they lived through it. Then the car went right along by and went for 500 or 600 feet, right on the top of the Jacob's ladder. Then the damn thing got going so fast, it tipped over on the right, slid about 60 feet, and it pushed it. There was 80 people in the car, pushed them out through the windows and grabbed them right out the door. 8 people underneath me were killed just like that.
And how, you
80
were,
out of 80. I was 1 out of 80. And 8 of the 80 were killed.
wow.
I was right on top of them.
How old were you when that
I
happened?
was 30. Earl Brown Warren was with me. She was 27. Her baby was about 8, 9 months old. He never got a scratch. She got a compression fracture of the spine. She did come out of it all right, but she laid up part of the winter. I never got a scratch.
Yeah.
We were lucky. We was on top. The one was on the bottom, but
What did you
tipped over. Of course, the window was just aimed any railroad car, real close together. They held the framework between the windows in 1 8 inches apart or so. Just pushed them right through the windows and let the car slide in it. Quite a lot like a battlefield.
What year did that happen?
September 17th, 1967, at just about 5:30 in the afternoon. Beautiful, beautiful sunny day. The sun was still shining good when it happened. And the woman that owned the goddamn railroad happened to be standing down the bottom looking up and saw it happen. And 3 weeks before that, she had a daughter killed with a horse trailer accident. Mrs. Teague, her name was.
Wow. That's something.
The next fall, Shirley and I drove up there. We drove up in the car and walked down to where the site was. Probably ain't more than, it ain't 1.5 mile on top of that, it probably not quite that far. Shit, it ain't 200 yards off of auto road, railroad there.
How did, did they have to like lug people off?
Well, there was another train coming up anyway. So they took a passenger right off the train and began to load on the engine. Then they got another train ready just as fast as they could with mattresses and rescue people and sent them up too. So we went down, we came back down on the first car. They'd already to the hospitals, had an hour and a half or more to get ready. Littleton Hospital, Lancaster Hospital, one down in Meredith, St. Johnsbury, were all alerted. So they were, everyone was on duty, and it run just like a mashup there. Littleton Hospital, I've got the utmost praise for them. They had people enough there to tend to everyone, and they knew what they were doing. So anyone that lived to get to the hospital lived, but the ones that died right there on the spot.
Yeah.
I had a man, had a whole chunk of his head smashed right out, holding a t-shirt against it. Well, I know about his wife, I don't know which one his wife was. I don't know if he lived or not either. There's a whole chunk of his skull, big as a hand gone right on the front of his head right here. So I don't know if he lived or not.
Well, I don't think I'll ever go
You're
through
safer
that.
on that than you are in a car. That run 98 years. We was the first fare-paying passengers that ever had an accident, and there's never been another one either.
Have you been up it again?
I've been to it 3 different times. Well, I've been on the car and rode across the parking area and up to the base station, but I ain't never rode it up again. I don't know what I want to, but there's really no reason to be any more afraid of it. Not as afraid as it is you and I drive through it.
Yeah.
Not accidents do happen.
Boy, somebody's watching out for you.
The tramway came down in France about 10 years ago, and the whole thing people killed too. So any mechanical device can fail. Last Monday down here with the boys, I was putting a block of maple, and a goddamn piece flew off that footer, struck me right there, and knocked me right from almost completely up into my office. So any kind of accident can happen. It knocked me all over that because I'm another log hurt my back. I'm telling you, boys, you got the goddamn cylinder that's that big with a rod into that big with about probably, I don't know, when that block popped, it didn't just separate, it flew.
Yeah.
And I happened to be on the receiving end of it. It's lucky to get me there and sit on my nose too.
Did you grow up in Craftsburg?
Well, yes. We've been where, our family has been where we are since May 1990. Well, I actually was born in Woken over on the other hill where Dave Holton lives. My uncle and Aunt Moses and Elizabeth Mills lived there. And then we came back to where we are for a year and a half, and then Dad and Mom moved a mile up the road in Hyde Park where George and Ash built Nashville. We were there until the spring of '43. Came back down where we are. I've been there since 1990.
Did they farm? Did your folks farm?
Dad young, he was 70 years old. 73.
So how many generations of Vermonters are in your family?
Well, Dad was
you know?
4.5 years old when they came there. Well, we go way back to an English Revolutionary War soldier. War ship was in the English Army. And he was taken prisoner, and soon after that, the war was over, and he was released and settled in Stratford County, New Hampshire. He had 3 children there. Then he came to Williston, Vermont, and had 2 more in Williston. And we came from our youngest son born in Williston. All the Demerits that I know anything about, we all originated from English Revolutionary War soldier named Richard Demeritt. All these Demerits here in Johnson, Waterbury were all kin to us. I never knew them, but Flossie Demeritt was his teacher. She was cousin of my grandfather. Her father's name was Lewis, and that's all I know about it. If I could find out what the hell his father's name was, then I put the puzzle together.
You know, did you try going through the Mormons?
No, I never have. I've got what they call the Demeritt history. There's no more of a Demeritt history than there's a Bradley history or any other family history. Nothing but absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
They've gone to the Social Security files and took the names out of the Social Security files, and that's all the history there is to it. No different than it would be if it's printed for you.
Mom